Well, it being 5:30 and recording in progress, we will call to order this October 20th, 2025 meeting of the Shelburne Select Board. We do have a quorum of two. Perhaps our third will join us soon. Um, we can begin with the acceptance of the minutes from our October 6th meeting, which came into us, I forget, over the weekend or whenever. I've had it for a while, read through it, didn't have any changes. Rod, yourself?
I didn't either.
Okay. And Andrew has joined us. Welcome.
Afternoon.
We were just beginning to review the uh, October 6th minutes. Did you have any changes in that?
I do not.
Then we need a motion to accept.
So
I'll
moved.
make a motion, we accept the minutes of October 6th.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, put the matter to a vote. Rod,
Aye.
Andrew,
Yes.
and I am I. Motion passes 3-0-0. Andrew, I wanted to start the meeting tonight. I'll go off track a hair here and extend my congratulations to you for all of your efforts in the phase one and phase two of the Memorial Hall, or the um, what's this new name? The Shelburne Falls Theater at Memorial Hall. Got to learn that new mouthful. But again, your part in it is well respected, and the ribbon cutting ceremony yesterday was really great, well attended. So hats off to you, as well as to Terry, who, as you mentioned in your remarks yesterday, carried a lot of the weight as well to see things through. So thank you both. But Andrew, great job.
Thank you, Rick. Much appreciated. I'm glad both of you are able to join in there,
Yeah.
and thank you, Terry. She does the heavy lifting. So
You're welcome.
Good stuff.
we're off and running now. We've got a new season of movies and operas underway, and more fundraising to go. So
Well,
yeah,
some jobs are never done.
that's right. We'll be at it
I
for
was,
a while.
I was impressed with the turnout. It was very, very nice.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep, very, very well done. Um, okay, liaison reports. Any from you this evening, Rod?
I went, when did I go? I went to the Veterans Administration. There's one of the quickest meetings I've ever been in. They're in and out in 10 minutes and pretty
Nice.
much just approved the meetings and approved the minutes and met everybody. Everybody there is just fabulous.
Yep.
And our next meeting would be January 6th.
Okay.
I guess that one's going to be a little longer, budget and everything.
Right.
And
Yep.
that's about it.
I'm glad you got your feet wet with that. I think
Yes.
so. If I'm not mistaken, your liaison to the um, Emergency Management Committee.
Yes, I have a hard time connecting with Tom due to my work schedule right now, and
Yeah.
um,
He gave
I
me
don't.
a he gave me a call this afternoon and mentioned um, the tabletop exercise that they're doing on the 30th, is it?
That
Uh,
sounds right.
it's coming up. If you haven't received, or I think you received that information on it, um, hopefully you can attend, but if you can't, let Andrew or I know, and maybe one of us can as well.
Okay.
Super. I'll give a quick police department liaison report. We finally had a meeting of the Police Services Advisory Committee. Our previous one with a quorum was February. So we've had our struggles, but the good news is Buckland came up with uh, their last seat being filled almost a year later or more. Their at large, one of their at large positions has now been filled. They select board voted them as their appointee. So we now have a full 7-member board. Should make it a little easier for us to get a quorum to conduct business. Um, the meeting was primarily spent going over the intermunicipal agreement for the shared police services. We went through the document paragraph by paragraph, page by page, updating the 3-year agreement. The 3-year agreement renews July 1st, 2026. The Select Board of Shelburne and Buckland are supposed to vote support and approval of the new agreement by December. A 6-month notice clause for some reason was in it, but we should make that no problem. The majority of things that we are looking at editing and changing involve things that were first year applicable only, and so weren't even applicable in the last 2 years of this 3-year agreement. That will be provided once it's done for everyone, with what was taken out and what was put in clearly defined for review by both select boards after the Police Services Advisory Committee is done with it. I believe that's all I have from that group. Andrew, you're up.
Thank you. Yeah, first up, there is a meeting upcoming of the Franklin Regional Council of Governments on Thursday at 5:30. The main topic on the agenda is group insurance, so we'll be learning more about those big increases and what options we have. So I'll share more about that when I learn about it. The library I hope, is coming in tonight to talk about their elevator, so we can ask them questions then if you have any. I did speak with Jeff today. He just wanted to remind people, you probably heard Joe's announcement, the temporary bridge on 80 Bardwell is going to be closed on the 21st, 22nd, and 24th. The sign is not working down there, so we sent out the town notice. Eversource is fixing their poles around the temporary bridge. The highway department is working on vehicle inspections for the whole fleet which coming up on the 29th. The fire department will do probably a couple of trucks in there too. Jeff is putting together a Chapter 90 application for repairing the loader. We still don't have a number, but he's ballparking about $34,000 just to be on the safe side. They need to ship the loader to CAT and hopefully get a loaner loader on the return trip, so they will not be short. The crew is working on checking the drainage system during this rainy period we're having upcoming. Grates and leaves, doing a lot of leaf blowing, lifting the canopy on Skinner Road, and clearing out culverts and stuff in the village and around town. The FERCog is helping put together the bidding for the small bridge project up by the Shelburne Library. We were awarded $382,000 in small bridge money for that and need to get it out to bid. I did meet with Jeff and we to do his evaluation, and I'll get the notes to that to Jeff and Terry soon. I think that's it.
Terrific. Terry, any other information we've missed or from your end?
I just wanted to let you know from the shared police service agreement that the accountant, treasurer, and I are in the process of reconciling the FY 25 budget, and we'll know whether the Buckland share was adequate over or under in the coming week, hopefully.
Okay.
And then on Wednesday, I'll be attending a small town administrators annual meeting in Berniston, so I'll be away from the office.
Okay,
that day. Health insurance is one of the topics of discussion at that meeting.
that's this Wednesday.
Yes.
Okay. Terrific. Thanks for letting us know that. Very good. We're a few minutes early, but I see Crystal is here. We've completed our liaison reports. We have an appointment for 6:45 with Crystal Stinson of High River LLC. Welcome, Crystal. You're muted. You may unmute. There you are.
Hello.
Hello. You sent us a letter October 7th requesting this appointment, stating the concern about not being able to get a resident permit to use the transfer station, and had some feelings about it. We've obviously had an issue or two with that. We've had many people, not many, we've had other people like yourself ask the same question. We'll give you a bit to plead your case. But as you know, the town of Shelburne, your town, the town of Buckland, are all part of the waste management, the Franklin County Solid Waste Management District. And that is license issued by the Department of Environmental Protection, and it specifically prohibits our transfer stations and Bucklands from receiving anything but household trash and trash from our own town buildings. So our hands are tied, but we'll listen to what you have to say.
Mhm. I did prepare a statement. So for anybody who doesn't know me, I lived on Mechanic Street in Shelburne for 10 years. I now live very close to Mohawk High School. So my mailing address is Shelburne Falls, but the tax address is Buckland. We also own the building in town, right at the corner of the bridge, where we have the shop downstairs, the bazaar, and upstairs 2 apartments. We don't produce much trash. We produce about 1 bag a week with no food in it, and then some like recycling, like mostly boxes, cardboard recycling. So I understand the concern about like commercial volumes of trash, but that's not what we are dealing with here. So I did prepare a statement, like I said, that I'm just going to read. About this time of year, I'm quite burned out. I fielded questions like, where is the Bridge of Flowers, and can I use your bathroom hundreds and hundreds of times? I haven't taken a weekend off during the summer in many years. For businesses in Shelburne Falls, it's a push during the height of the summer and through the leaf peeper season to stash enough cash to cover the bills in January, which will inevitably be higher at a time when we all operate at a loss. I pay property taxes in Shelburne. I bring in sales tax to the town of Shelburne, and as well as short-term rental tax revenue for the town. My last water bill was $800. That makes me rethink the question, can I use your bathroom? But I have empathy for the guests because the town is unable to provide 24-hour public facilities. And often when people come into our space, there's no other place to find a bathroom. I take pride in bringing beauty to our building, which is an anchor point in the village, literally anchoring the iron bridge at its foundation. We sweep the leaves, we shovel the snow, we pick up the cigarette butts and the dog poop, even recently human poop because someone pooped behind our building. I guess they couldn't find a bathroom. We spend a lot of time and energy to keep our block tidy and clean. Every local school and nonprofit requests donations for their raffles and their fundraisers. We donate, I volunteer, I organize events. Did I mention I'm exhausted? I'm tired of feeling like I'm walking on shifting sands. I try to run a professional business and do it the correct way legally, but it's frustrating and confusing when the laws and codes change and all of a sudden what we think we're doing correctly is now all of a sudden like breaking the rules. I'm tired of hearing from the town administration only when I need to pay more money or when I've done something wrong. Aside from the question of whether I can use the dump, which I understand, if we need to get a dumpster or something, we're kind of tired of bringing the bags to the dump anyway, we'll do it. But my real question is, that I'd like to bring up with the select board. Where is the support for the small businesses that work every weekend to bring a lively, welcoming atmosphere to the village? I've asked for help on a parking issue in town that I haven't heard back from. I don't really feel supported in general in this town, and it often feels like the town is anti-business, and I'm not the only business owner to feel that. Aside from that, regarding the transfer station, towns of Buckland and Shelburne share a school, a fire department, and a police department. And I've heard from people on the Buckland side as well that they've had a lot of controversy about their dump. And I'm just curious as to whether the towns have ever considered sharing a transfer station, since we share so much else. That's pretty much everything I had to say. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, a shared transfer station. Actually, that's interesting. I don't know what Buckland's condition is. Ours, we actually have to rent our space from the town of Charlemont because Shelburne has no land. But that's an interesting thought. I'm sure my fellow select board members empathize with your feeling of absence of support. I think that has been perpetuated from the former business association that kept things lively and organized and had an advocacy role, and that's been gone for years. It's difficult to be in business and it's difficult to be in business in a small town. But Rod, Andrew, either of you care to make any comments to Crystal? Hearing none, unless are you trying to unmute? There you are. I think you've unmuted, Andrew.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was waiting for Rod.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm still mulling everything over. So not right at the moment. I have no questions there.
Well, Crystal, I just want to say I hear your concerns. I know it's been a hard couple of years with all of the construction in town and with the loss of the business association, it's been harder for select boards and other town boards to kind of connect with the businesses. I'm hopeful this new steering committee will provide some of that kind of liaison work, and we'll see where that goes. I enjoyed working with you on the previous version of that. I can't even remember what we called it now, but we did sort of hold that spot together for about a couple of years there, and I think it's having been a director of the business association, I know that the businesses carry a lot and contribute a lot. So I appreciate all that you do contribute, and I feel for that this may not be a satisfying conclusion here. I'm not sure whether a shared transfer facility is something that's going to be in the cards for the two towns. As Rick mentioned, we don't have a spot to do that work other than where we are now. But we could certainly look around with Buckland if that's something they'd be interested in considering. I know that you're not the first Buckland resident, particularly a couple of ones who live in the village who are miffed at having to travel all the way out to the Buckland, facility on 112. And but this has been a sort of policy area that we have been trying to tighten up in the last couple of years as the recycling rates have kind of dropped away after China stopped taking all of our trash, and it's just another cost area for the town that we have to manage more carefully. So that's why I think we're getting more scrutiny with our transfer station attendant on who is bringing what to the transfer station. But I just uh, I want to just say thanks for all that you are doing for the village and for the business community.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wish we could fix it for you. It's we're not without empathy for the position you're in, and you're obviously not alone in it. And we realize it is an expense. And as Andrew mentioned, that's one of the reasons we've had to tighten it up. Is it used to be that we would get a nice payment for recyclables, and that would offset the cost of getting rid of the trash, and that's changed. It's not a new regulation, by the way, as you mentioned earlier. It was a poorly enforced um, regulation for way too long. And when we got a new transfer station attendant in, we charged that person of being extra diligent in weeding it out to try and help mitigate our costs there as well. But is there anything else you'd like to say to us?
Sure. One thing you may not know about me is that I lived in Asia for 10 years. I was an ESL teacher in South Korea for many years, and I'm not surprised China no longer wants our recyclables. Our trash management system is primitive compared to theirs. There was townwide or citywide composting, which removed all the food produce, products with food waste from the garbage. So then recycling was required. So the amount of actual garbage is minimal. And we still actually follow that process. That's one of the reasons why there's no food waste ever in my garbage. We compost everything. The town may want to consider a townwide composting. It would really reduce the amount of garbage.
We do have composting at our transfer station.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Things like it surprised me. Egg cartons, you can't recycle them. You have to compost them and things like that. But yeah, we're all learning how to do things better to stop our waste and deal with it efficiently. I don't know what else to say to you, Crystal.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for bringing this before us. Have a good evening.
Good night.
Okay, we're a little early for our next appointment, so let's jump down to the Pocket Park under old business. Anyone have any update on that? I do if no one else does. I spoke with Dick Hillman, who was going to tackle phase one of our three-phase plan to try and, oh, there's Joe Chudd. He was there. He was hiding on Libby's iPad. I did speak to Dick Hillman today, and he has told me that he expects to start the grading and shaping of the Pocket Park the first. You guys, could you guys mute your iPad for a moment? Libby?
Yeah.
He's hoping to do his part or begin his part the first week in November. He originally had thought the first week in October. That obviously didn't happen. He's expecting to bring numbers in to Terry for his part of the project the first of next week and begin the first week in November. So fingers crossed. That's as much as I know at this point. Anyone else heard otherwise?
No, I think you have the latest on Dick Hillman. My suggestion would be if he does give us a sketch of what he's able to accomplish with the dollars that we're able to provide for that segment, that we might want to consider once we get his outline to meet again with the landscaping company ASAP, given how short the time is getting.
Right.
And just see, because he sounded pretty doubtful about whether he was even willing to join in on this. So I think we should get a yes or a no from him pretty quickly so that if he doesn't want to do it, we can move on to somebody else.
I agree. I agree. Let's leave that in your focus group there to see what happens as soon as
Okay, well, Terry can let us know when Dick Hillman gives us his outline, you know.
perfect.
Sure.
Perfect. Let's do old business, item B, Highway
Oh,
Department.
Rick, before we leave that topic, I was just going to say the other thing that I think we can do if we're trying to get this money spent out before the time expires at the end of December is we could begin the contracting process with Johanna at the Ashfield Stone for the part three, because I think we can kind of scope that out even without doing any of the work, just based on the dimensions of the Jersey barriers, you know. Um,
It would be
so
a shame to lose the money. So we've got it.
yeah.
We spend it by December, and
So I'm happy to reconnect with her. We haven't spoken about it in a while, so and see if she's willing to take that on with us.
are they working out of right next door to Dick's place, Dick Hillman's
Yeah,
place? Okay, I thought they brought it down here. Yeah,
yeah.
great. Well, I think we're all committed to seeing that happen for sure.
Great.
Super. Okay, Highway Department, winter help. We do have an application that you received in your packet. This is George Sinistor.
Yes.
How does he spell his name?
Sinistor.
It's Sinistor, okay. For that position, do we have a recommendation from the Highway Department, or who's, is it?
I spoke with Jeff today, and George currently does the mowing for the town and is willing to do part-time snow removal. And Jeff recommended a starting rate between $21.50 and $22 an hour.
So he's good with George going forward in this area?
Yes.
Okay.
And George has done it before, so he knows what he's biting off, right? According to his note, he said he's held that position in the past and feels he can do what's necessary to do the job correctly and in a timely manner. So sounds good to me. Do we need to set a number, 2150 or 22? Do you know what we're paying him for the mowing?
We are paying him less than 21. I think it was $20.52.
Any thoughts, Andrew?
Is he remind us again, Terry, how is it we're hiring him? Is it kind of by the job or hours per week
Yes.
or
Yeah. Richard Grant originally held the part-time winter position. He retired, so we advertised. George applied for this. So George would be doing both mowing and winter help.
right, but is the winter help job a certain number of hours per week, or is it billed on a basis of if the snow
Mm,
falls, then I work?
Yes, it's as needed based on snowfall.
Okay, so he's just submitting the hours he uses to clear that snow then.
That's correct.
Okay.
Which
I'm okay with paying him $22 for that. And we're just hiring him for the winter season essentially?
That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree. Since it's almost a will call,
Mhm.
Yeah.
you call you need kind of thing.
Yep.
But I'm totally comfortable with that extra 50 cents of that range to go to the 22. Do we have a motion to make the hire at 22?
I will move that we hire George Sinistor at $22 an hour to be our winter help laborer for snow clearing and to submit hours based on the number of on the amount of snow clearing needed during the winter season this year.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, put the matter to a vote. Andrew?
Aye.
Rod?
Aye.
And I am aye. Motion passes 3-0-0. Okay, it's 6 on the dot. We have an appointment for Hill Cemetery Commission regarding burials and lot procedures. Um, We have Libby and Joe Judd from the commission. Libby, you can go ahead. Oh, and someone behind you. You can go ahead and unmute. Can you find your unmute button?
There we go.
There it
I think I
is.
got it. No, Lonnie York is also here.
And I'm Lonnie York.
Oh, hi, Lonnie. All right, welcome, everyone. Joe, as chairman of the Cemetery Commission, sent us the packet the end of last week. Very comprehensive. We'll give you time to give us a thumbnail sketch of where we're at, because I'm sure we've all given a good read, and we'll see if we have any questions as well as we go forward. But as I viewed it, it looks like you have met as a committee. You have voted to recommend
Questions.
the two things before us. One was a set of rules and regulations, and one was basically a rate and fee chart. Those are the two that I think you're looking for the select board to vote on, to approve moving forward. And am I correct, Joe, that you have taken a majority vote to put them before us as is presented?
Yes, we did.
Great. Super. Anyone want to give us a quick overview, or would you like to start with any questions from us?
I just give you a quick overview. I gave you a lot more than what you probably wanted, but I did that because I wanted you to have a track record of the town involvement over the years, all the way back to 1904 in these groups. I could go further, but I didn't want to dig that deep. But the main top document that we gave you, you touched on it, Rick, is we voted to hold a moratorium on sales starting November 1st until April 15th, 2026. Mainly because, we stopped digging on November 15th based on the weather, of course. If the weather is still good and we can dig, we will. But we sort of use that as a target date all the way to April 15th, 2026, again, depending on the weather. The numbers are there. I'm sure you saw them. You saw the part about Snows and Sons accepting to work with us.
Mm-hmm.
The plan going forward is anything prior to November 15th will stay with the highway department in relation to their doing the digging. Anything after on November 15th, and nothing will be sold until April 15th, 2026, will be taken on by Snows and Sons. Their fees are there based on what they offer for service in this area. We voted to raise the plot fee to $500, and the other stuff that's in that document, I'm sure you've reviewed, and we're ready for questions.
Great. Yes, I gave it a good read. Some things twice. Everything seemed coherent. Your extra documentation I found very interesting. I like the history of it myself to see how we got to where we are and what the practices have been in the past. Snows does already do Arms Cemetery, and they're obviously skilled at this. And we are clearly, our old fees and rates and process were way outdated and costing us money and time from our highway department and so on. So I was very impressed with the whole package, and hats off to the committee for getting this before us from myself. Rod, any comments on this from you?
I just thought it was a well done documentation, and I, like you, was quite impressed with what we did in the past and how we got here. But I think everything that was sent answers all my questions.
Well, I hear you as a youth might have been involved in a little digging up there yourself.
I did. I've done two.
I heard the rumor. I actually went out and to purchase a new item to maintain my property and ran into somebody who said, "Yeah, I used to go up with my dad and probe and dig as well." And so
Yeah.
a lot of history there for sure. And it's obviously the only town cemetery. So thank you to the committee that's uh, uh, maintaining this and looking forward and how do we improve things. You actually have some CPA money
Yeah.
coming
It's getting itchy.
more after you get this behind you, sure. Andrew, did you have any comments or questions?
I do, yeah. Thank you, Joe, for putting all that together. That was very informative and looks like your group has done some good work in putting policies together and getting things organized. So, um,
They're a good group.
yeah, so good work. A couple of thoughts about the proposals you or the policies you put together for um, both looking backward and looking forward. Um, One is question the document in which you describe um, the policy going forward, being to use snows and the folks going backward will continue to rely on the town. Is that a policy document that you plan to kind of use as your guide?
Well, I mean, it's kind of loose. I mean, we could tighten that up, but any kind of policy, if you guys were wanting to see a broader policy,
Well, here's my suggestions. One is put a date on the front of that document
yes,
so that we know where the going forward starts and where the going backward is from. Um,
well,
that would be the starting point.
well, there are
And
dates in the document, but
I know that.
yeah,
I'm just saying right on the top, put a date
okay,
on it.
okay,
And secondly, um, when you get to that section where you describe the snow's pricing, I would recommend that your group do a bid with Snows every year in which they give you a price schedule and how long it's good for, so that you can put that in your document and say, these are the 2025 burial services costs for contracting with Snows, and those prices will hold until X date. So that anybody contracting with you for a plot knows they can refer to that document, and every year they will see an updated schedule of that bidder. And if you don't like the prices, then you can go out to bid again and find a different contractor, to maybe give you a more competitive price, so that when we say to a purchaser of a lot, um, here's your lot for $500, and now you have to use snows if you want to dig a hole in it. We can, assure them that we are bidding those services competitively, and it's not like Snows has got a lock on it and can charge whatever they want. Uh,
okay,
so,
Couldn't
uh,
we
No problem. We can do that.
it's a good idea.
couldn't we deal with that with verbiage that rates subject to change on an annual basis? Just add that to the document rather
Which,
than
which rates?
These rates.
The
The
burial,
snows rates?
the burial rates. The Snows and Company.
yes.
yeah,
Okay,
you can say they're subject to change, but it would be good to have a window of when those how long those prices hold.
no, I-
Um, you know,
Yep.
so that you can so it's not just like if they call up, they say, "Oh, well, the price has actually changed." It's like they can look at the document and say those prices are good until May, and then they're gonna, then we'll bid them again.
It's a good idea. I think we can do that.
Terrific.
Yeah. The other thing I'd recommend in terms of the date specifics of your document might be to say something similar about the cost of a burial lot. To say that cost here is the cost of the burial lot. Those rates are reviewed on whatever schedule you set. Is it annual? Is it every 3 years? I don't know what, but you might want to put that in there to let people know that
Decades.
those rates are not going to sit there, you know. I mean, we still sell popcorn at Pothole Pictures for $1, but and that rate has been good since 1995. But the Hill Cemetery might want to, consider that cost change over time. Which leads me to my other point, which is to say that it would be helpful to me in understanding the cemetery business, which I am a neophyte in, um, is if we had a set of comparables, like what does the Arm Cemetery charge for a burial lot, and what does Leiden charge, or whoever else is around us, that would give me more confidence that we were operating within, the going rate of our region for what burial lots cost.
We are still less expensive than a lot of cemeteries, at the big cemeteries. Towns, not our town, Turner's, Greenfield, we're still cheap.
Right. So that's part of my question is to say, it's nice that we're cheap, but if we have a limited commodity that we are offering essentially the town's services to people to, buy lots and maintain their loved ones in perpetuity, we should be able to do that in such a way that the cemetery is carrying its weight in terms of helping the town to cover those costs.
With the present committee, you don't need to worry about that one.
Well, Andrew, I can tell you this, that when we were researching this, we looked at probably a dozen different towns. In particular, I always refer to Deerfield because they're our sister town. While we don't really mirror them from a, commerce or industry or infrastructure, aspect, they're still a sister town based on the historic aspect of how the cemeteries were formulated. And the number that I picked was the same number they use. But I think your idea is an excellent one. I could pretty much give you the documentation that I used and put it in maybe a little bit of a different format after we have a chance to discuss it as a committee and give that to you if you'd like, or have it on, maybe not on the website, but certainly for you to look at, because we did review a lot of different cemeteries coming up with these figures.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear that. And it would be helpful to me to kind of have a sense of what the going rate is around here.
Yep. I mean, it would be hard just to grab a number out of because we've been stagnant for so many years and we all acknowledge that. It would be hard just to grab a number out of the sky and say, hey, this is our number. Maybe that's what happened before.
Mm-hmm.
So there was a good amount of research that went into that, and I'd be happy to share that with you.
That's great. The last thing that I kind of have on my docket, because I am the liaison to the highway department, and they have expressed their desire to not be involved in burials or digging holes in Hill Cemetery, is that I think we're going to have to go back and, meet with our superintendent and kind of hash that one out and come up with a plan for what we propose to you for how we want to deal with the looking backward part for your 40 to 45 lots that you've sold, that you feel are carrying that promise to the purchasers. I know in some cases, the ones you have in the last 5 years, you do at least have that in writing according to the John Doe contract that you shared with us. And so that's good to know that we have a written agreement, at least with those purchasers. I'm not sure what we've got for the other ones, but
Don't know.
I
We
think
don't know
that's
either.
We don't
Yeah,
know
Yeah,
either.
we don't know either. We think a lot of
right.
it do with just a handshake or just the understanding and,
So
but
that's a discussion I guess our board will have to have, both about what is our obligation to people we have an understanding of some kind with that we don't know exactly what it is, and how we're going to meet that obligation if we decide that we have one, you know.
Well, I think we had the history documented for us of how it's been done for literally decades.
Mhm.
And to change it at this point without documentation makes no sense to me. We have maybe 40, 45 estimated, and it's highly possible that half of those may never be used.
Right.
We don't know. There's just no way to know. So in the big picture, it's nothing. I also understand there's an understanding with the highway superintendent already in regard to what you mentioned before. But
Yep.
also, I'll mention, looking at the rates, this is a substantial increase over what we've charged other people already. And if you're concerned about having them too cheap, um, I, there's got to be some balance there. But remember, we're only talking about the potential of 30 more lots. There's only 30 more
Didn't
to
we kind of agree to
the
that?
cemetery's full. So it's not like Arms Cemetery where there's still hundreds or literally hundreds of spots still available. We've got an estimated 30 lots left.
But
Why
if
do
I
we
could,
make this a nightmare? It's my fault.
May I say something?
yeah,
too?
go ahead. Yeah.
Sorry.
And I just want to say that it's not like there's going to be one every weekend. They're going to be, it'll be spread out. So it really won't be that many a year that the highway department has to deal with, I would assume, unless we all get really sick. I don't know. But I think it'll be it'll be spread out. I don't think it'll be too taxing.
There is an understanding already with the superintendent about the ones that
Yeah.
are backwards, right?
Yes, there
Yes,
is. And,
yes.
I'd encourage all of you, Andrew as a liaison, to talk to Jeff about that, because his take on it is sort of like ours, that we're sort of in it. We didn't bring ourselves into it, except for the ones that we sold. There is deeds that I'd be glad to share with you that I found back to 1977, but they don't say anything about, I think the digging was just an understanding. Well, and I can't say that for sure because we weren't doing this then. But anything before that, I really have no idea. I mean, Roddy was digging it with his father. He worked for the town at part-time back when, I mean, maybe in the
Decade.
70s, maybe, I don't know, but
Well, Joe, the memo that you shared with us in that little pile of documents, I believe it's from 1982, is one from somebody from the Shelburne Grange saying, we don't want to do this anymore, which leads me to believe that the Shelburne Grange at one time was the organization doing the digging and not the highway department. Am I wrong about that?
yes, you are, and I can understand why you think that, though. I mean, I hate to say that you're wrong. I just don't think you understand the document, which was back then they were mowing the cemetery. They did the mowing.
Okay.
They did the spring and fall cleanups. I was there helping them with that, and they did that long before I came to town. And then when Tim Graves, you saw that document, he took it over. He worked it out with the selectmen. He the caretaker of the mowing, the spring cleanups, never digging. Highway department did that. They just maintained the cemetery from a standpoint of mowing and digging, clipping around the stones, stuff like that.
Okay. No,
Yeah.
that's helpful. That's good clarification. Good.
But I do think I would encourage a conversation with Jeff. Honestly, it might make you feel more at ease.
Good. Yeah, I will speak to him again about it. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, then, I think where we're at is, if the committee at their next meeting, will, update these two documents that you're asking the select board to approve with a beginning and, through and subject to change, wording, whatever you find appropriate, and bring those two documents back to us.
Yep.
I think that's the next step, and
Yep.
Will do.
We can do that. I have a question. If you had the opportunity to look at the bylaws,
which bylaws?
the cemetery bylaws, I think that was in your packet.
Yeah, that
Okay.
one, yeah.
Okay, because there was changes in there that I highlighted in purple.
Oh, yes, yeah.
Okay, I want you to know Randy Crozier today signed off on that. And I think I also gave you the information as to why it's important that the health agent be involved. Not only from a historic standpoint, but from, I think, an aspect of the way the Board of Health used to be the burial agents for the town. This keeps a little bit of a finger into it with somebody that really knows a lot of the issues about that end of it.
Mhm.
And I always feel comfortable when he's able to sign off on something, and he signed off on those today.
You did mention that as well.
Okay.
Great. Any other questions or discussion this evening? Anything else the committee would like to say?
Are you, what is the cemetery plot dollars?
Well, you'll tell us at our next meeting.
We don't know. We'll find
Oh.
out.
Okay, sorry about that. I only involved in 2 out of 4,
Yeah.
3 out of 4.
Well,
Okay,
the only town cemetery is the
Right.
Hill. So we have nothing to do with the Arms one.
okay. Works for me.
It would be good to have that as a benchmark for a comparable like Andrew asked for.
Thanks.
We'll do that.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you
Thank
all.
you. Thank
Thank
you all.
you.
Thank you.
Okay, that appointment, I believe, makes old business item C a moot point there, so we're good on that. Item 5, old business D, Rita Jaros's concern from our last meeting, which we brought. When we mentioned it last week, I got confused of the east side and west side of South Street because it's really not obvious. I thought she was talking about concern of people and looking for a crosswalk or some security at the end of the sidewalk on her side. Yet, because she was saying the east side. Well, the east side is actually the other side from Rita's house. So people are walking, she says, people are walking up the east side sidewalk, which comes to an end with one house lot where the sidewalk is not there before the flat parking area on the opposite side of South Maple from the Sweetheart. So looking at that, the sidewalk project is a nightmare because it's Route 2A. It's we don't get to say what happens there. But in looking at it, you can see where people are trying to walk from the end of the sidewalk, continue up on that same side of the road, but it's sloped, it's mowed, but it's sloped. To me, if the landowner was open to it, or if it's in the town right away, I don't know which, or maybe both, that the highway department could level it off just a little bit as a one lane footpath to get people not to step into the actual roadway on that corner with incoming traffic, just as food for thought. So we'll see if anything can be found out about that, perhaps by our next meeting. But anything further, it doesn't look like is in our purview or budget or process, since the state would have to have tons of regulations of actually extending a sidewalk, according to what Jeff told me. Is that what he shared with you, Andrew?
Yeah, we did talk about it today, and I've looked at it a little bit. the what Jeff shared with me might be a little different than what you described. He said on a numbered state road that the town maintains, we do have to adhere to state code and regulations as far as road construction goes. But we would have, you know, we would be able to propose and do a project there and probably get funding for it. But he was suggesting that we would have to, engineer it and have, so it would be expensive just, to rather than what you're describing of, digging a little footpath. I'm not sure that that's legal. I mean, another set of questions are, how do you do a project on private land? And that land is probably not ours, Um,
We know that.
I don't know. We would have to figure that out, of whether that last little segment there going up to the Sweetheart Crosswalk, which I understand Mark put in, which isn't really probably doesn't conform to state regulations because it's too close to the intersection. So that would raise a whole nother question in the engineering design process, whether that's even a legal crosswalk. We'd have to address the question of whether we wanted, if we're having two crosswalks, people going over and then back again, whether we want lighting at those crosswalks, and have little solar lights and things like that.
Yeah, I didn't think Rita was suggesting a crosswalk. She was suggesting making it safer for people to continue the east side to the parking
So
lot.
that's another approach that Jeff did mention and say could possibly be done as a bikeway, that pedestrians could also walk in. My eyeballing of that just driving down the road today looked a little dubious just because the guardrail is right there on a steep embankment. There's just not a lot of room to operate without, you know, um, reducing the size of the road. And I'm not sure we would be able to do that since it's a numbered highway. Um, so there's a lot of questions to explore, and um, we would we would probably we would need to be advised by the DOT as to how we need to proceed in order to consider those questions.
And again, I think like any project, it should be need-based. We had one citizen raise a concern from observation of what she sees from her home. Yet there's no police record of problems or, I mean, are we looking at like you said, a very large expense that maybe we don't even need? So it's been brought to our attention. We can't ignore it. We've addressed it once. We've asked our highway superintendent to do some more digging. And as that further information comes in about the possibilities, we can decide what, if anything, we want to do. But I don't know what else we can do at this point.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's certainly not going to happen soon just because the window for construction projects is closing as we speak. So,
Terrific.
but I think there's a research and design phase that will probably need to be done if we want to construct anything on Maple Street because it's a state highway.
Great. Any last thoughts on that item? Moving on to new business. Item A, vote to accept the MHA donation, $49,482.36. There's a copy of of the check from Memorial Hall made to the town of Shelburne. This amount covers change orders number 1 and 2. Want to just give a quick update on what 1 and 2 were? If you know.
The two change orders, you mean? There was an 8,000 and a 20-something thousand change order. The larger one was to put the marmoleum floor covering into the balcony.
Which looks great, by the
With
way.
Yeah, it'll be nice, easy to maintain. It has a plywood underlayment there and the reason being that the contractor felt that the wooden floor did not have enough purchase to really hold the seats without wobbling. And so this creates a stronger base for the seating to be well anchored. Terry, remind me what the $8,000 one was.
That was redoing the floor when you first walk off the elevator.
Oh,
It
right.
had
Yeah. There was when they started dealing with the lobby, they discovered that the subflooring was of very different dimensions and had more funkiness and some rot and stuff. So it was in order to lay down that new floor in the lobby, they had to do more work underneath there.
Thanks for that update. Do we
Yeah.
have a motion to accept the $49,482.36?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, put the matter to a vote. Andrew, I'm sorry, Andrew
Aye.
and Rod.
Aye.
I. Motion passes 3-0-0. Last item under new business, vote to accept the bid recommendation for Arms Library vertical lift from Diversified Construction Services LLC to the tune of $118,000. This is a project we've obviously committed money to that has been in the works for, feels like forever. Is finally going through all the steps and hoops, went through the bidding process, and it's a matter of awarding their choice for getting this done. So I think all we need to do tonight, if there's no discussion or comments in advance, would be to make a motion to accept that bid recommendation.
My only question, just to put it on the record, Terry, do we have confirmation from the Arms Library that they have the funding to cover this bid?
between what the town allocated for the project and what the CPA allocated, yes, they have the funding for the project.
Okay.
And this was the sole bidder.
Yeah. Yeah, it sounded like their architects signed off on it. So
Yes.
yeah. So no, I'm fine with it. I just wanted to confirm that they got the money. So I'll move to accept the bid.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, put the matter to a vote. Andrew.
Aye.
Rod.
Aye.
I am aye. Motion passes 3-0-0. Any other business? We have our next meeting November 3rd on our every other Monday schedule. Is there any other business that didn't make it in time for the agenda we need to deal with tonight that I hadn't heard about as yet? Hearing none. Any correspondence? I didn't see any. Was there any that came in today?
Oh.
Perfect. Public comment. We do have, we do have one member of the public on. If they have a comment, raise your hand, come forward. Hearing none, we'll look for a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion, we adjourn?
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor? Rod?
Aye.
Andrew?
Aye. Aye.
And I am aye. Motion passes 3-0-0, and we are adjourned at 6:34. Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Have a good evening.